Hi, Laura Gabayan. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. I am so excited to have you on the show, Laura, for diverse reasons. Okay, firstly, I strictly believe that knowledge is the solution to world's problem, you know. And secondly, I firmly believe that there are some things that Laura knows that some of my audience needs to hear this stuff directly from your mouth in order to experience transformation. I firmly believe that. And thirdly, even I myself, I strictly believe that I am definitely gonna learn one or two things from your story, your experiences, your insight. So I just can't wait. So for that reason, Laura, I want us to get started with your story, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Laura, over to you.
So before I talk, I'm Laura Gabayan, or Dr. G, and the book I wrote is Common Wisdom, 8 Scientific Elements of a Meaningful Life. I do want to say I'm sorry if I slur my speech, only because it's part of the reason why I wrote this book. So I'll tell you. So what happened was, I'm a physician, I'm a researcher, and I was used to publishing in academia. And then in 2013, I was erroneously diagnosed with a medical condition, and then my body started to fall apart. And so my muscles were weak, and same with my speech, it's still weak. And so, because of all this, I started to think about who thinks outside the box. Physicians were very stuck to, oh, you have this diagnosis, this is treatment, this is what we do. And so I was like, well, who thinks with a bigger lens? And that was the wise. And then I looked into wisdom, and I noticed that all we know about wisdom was what they say in religions, or what famous people may say, but we don't know a lot. So then I studied wisdom. I knew how to do a research project, but I did not know anything about wisdom. So before you do any project, you need to know, okay, how do what do we know about it? So we knew that wisdom is highest in the ages of age 50, 60, and 70. And it's special, it's limited to a region. So that's why I stuck to North America. It has nothing to do with gender, race, or political affiliation. And so that's when I interviewed 60 wise adults in North America, but US and Canada, and that's when I came up with those 8 elements based on those interviews.
Beautiful. It's amazing, I tell you. Because, frankly speaking, we don't really know much about wisdom, as you said. So I'm so excited to have you on the show once again. Okay, I'm just so curious right now. Shall we get started with the questions, Laura? Okay. So, mm, mm, mm. You mentioned that you discovered eight elements of wisdom. Can you talk to us about those 8 elements?
Yeah, so the 8 elements we used research to define them, and they were resilience, kindness, positivity, spirituality, humility, tolerance, creativity, and curiosity. And the creativity and curiosity were given to people only if they mentioned those words. Whereas the other ones, were if they were very accomplished and they were humble, for example, they were given humility. So of all the people I interviewed, it was very interesting. I spoke with 60 people. Of all those people, only one had all 8. and most had between 2 and 5, but only one had all 8. So it's not common to have all 8. The
Hmm.
goal of my book was to break it down and allow for people to say, okay, I'm really good at this element and I'm not good at that element, to be able to kind of decide this is good for them or this is not. So that was the goal of A.
Got that. Okay.
And I didn't know anything about wisdom, so I think it's important for all of us
Yeah.
to realize that wisdom should not be something we all want in life. It's something it's a code word. It should be something that wisdom really means having more meaning, having more depth, having more of a good life. That's what it means. Sorry. Go ahead.
Beautiful. Okay, so I just wanted to know more about the correct criteria that you use to determine, someone who was wise.
I could not, as a scientist, I was not the authority on wisdom, so I could not say, oh, yes, this person could do it and this person's not. All I decided was the age. As long as they were ages 50 to 79, that's all I could decide. I did notice that around 20 interviews, I heard a lot of the same things, but I kept going till 60. I did, and the way we determined wisdom was whether they were nominated for the project. So anyone else could say this person's why. Now, it wasn't common. It wasn't something that happened often. I had to have weekly meetings, many meetings with people to talk about the project. I had to tell them this is what I'm looking for, and that's what it meant.
Okay, got that. So, can you explain to us how you compiled and presented those 8 elements in your work? I mean, your book. Come on.
There's a certain type of research that you use and you apply people a topic and then you collapse the topic. So we apply, we change the data or story into data. And that's how we did it.
Beautiful, beautiful. You changed the story into data.
Yes. And that's how we took a story and we assigned them. Initially it started with over 20 elements or characteristics, and then we collapsed them into the 8.
Okay, beautiful. So, how do you hope your scientific definition of wisdom and the element you've identified will impact others and their understanding of wisdom? You got that?
They were in order. The people who had resilience, the very first element, were higher in number, and the ones who had creativity and curiosity were lower in number. They were in order, but it was interesting because I always say to people, you think your life is difficult? I would read about these people. And then you'll realize, you know what, their life was a lot more.
Okay. We still have some questions here, Laura. So, what was the most surprising or, let's say, enlightening discovery you made during your interviews and research?
The most surprising to me was kindness, being the second element. I didn't grow up with kindness. I grew up in the Middle East, and kindness was just not something that was important. Not to my family, not to people around me. Kindness was viewed as a weakness. Like it was more important to look strong, to be kind was not strength. And so that's why when I saw kindness come up, it was a form of kindness I hadn't thought about. It was kindness to themselves. A lot of people took time off in their day to kind of be kind to themselves. whether it was meditate or whatever it was kindness towards other people. And on a bigger level, it was kindness to mankind, like through volunteering or having a nonprofit. So kindness was, for me, the most surprising.
Okay, I got that. So we have two more to go. Okay, so how has your own perception of wisdom changed as a result of this journey?
So I had no idea what wisdom was. I mean, for
Hmm.
years I read about it and I looked at scales and I looked at tests and I looked at all this stuff. And I had no idea I didn't even think about what wisdom was. And so this journey kind of highlighted to me that wisdom is, first of all, wisdom is not, it's not something one can pursue because they may not know what it is. That's why I did what I did and broke down into 8 elements. And wisdom is in a way a code word for having peace, having meaning in life, and having a sense of it'll be okay type philosophy.
Beautiful. Okay, so I know the listeners, by the time they'll be listening to this, they will be curious about how to apply the 8 elements. So I would want you to talk to us about that. Okay? How can we apply the eight
I would say
elements in our daily lives?
I would
Yes.
say that applying them is it's important, but you're not really gonna know how to until you first of all knowing what they are is important. And then also, once you know what they are, just start practicing. So, if positivity is something you're not good at, and that's the third element. I think it's something you can start noticing. So, first notice in yourself and then practice. So, and remember, all of this takes time. It takes a lot of time. So, you have to be very patient with yourself because it's going to take time.
Take that. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. You know, I love how you are responding to those questions. You're making it very easy to understand, Laura. That's so good.
That was
Okay, so
it's funny because my purpose, my goal
mm,
was to make the book very easy.
good.
Simple but powerful. I want someone to be able to read it quickly and feel like they can really understand what I did and what we found. And so
Mm,
I really wanted to be simple but powerful, and that's what I did. When you read the book, you'll see that it's very easy to read.
great. Okay, so to bring this to an end, Laura, what would you like to leave the audience with, like your final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you do, and even get your book, Commonwealth, how can that be possible?
So the book Common Wisdom is available on Amazon. And they can find more about it on my website, lauragabayan.com or the wisdomresearchproject.com. And my words to everyone is to live life in faith and not in fear. Focus on being and not doing. And when difficulties arise, know that it's happening for you. And
That's a deep one. Oh man. Focus on being and not doing. Where did you get that? That's a deep one, man. I love that. I love that. Okay, so how can, for those ones who would like to reach out to you, you
so
know,
on my website, lauragabayan.com or the Wisdom Research Project, they kind of merge into one, but there is a way to reach out to me. And also, just so we all know, there's a promotion on Amazon August 8th and 9th where the ebook is downloadable for free on Kindle or the Kindle app or Kindle. So you can download the Kindle app and download the book if you want, whatever works.
Okay, perfect, beautiful. So that's gonna be the end of the show, Laura. Thank you for coming and thank
Thank
you
you
for
for having
blessing
me.
us with invaluable informations, very, very beautiful ones. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.